customer service, about social media all day, about social marketing, about social everything. I'm going to shake it a little bit. I'm going to talk about customer service. I'm going to talk about customer service and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and the fact that we all have it. Some of us, like myself, have it a lot more than others, but we all have it. And every single one of your customers, every single one of your clients, everyone who ever will buy from you, has bought from you, wants to buy from you, or you want to have buy from you, has it. So I'm just going to share some stories about how I've dealt with it. It's funny. So this morning, I was in Phoenix yesterday. I ran a mastermind yesterday in Phoenix, and I thought, I always have these ideas of, it's close to San Diego. It looks really close on a map. I'll just drive. I'm from New York. I figured Westchester was close to New York, San Diego, Phoenix. It's probably the same thing, right? So I rented a car and did about 5 hours oh my God, it was the most boring drive ever. But right before I get on I-8, I tweet out, hey, I'm driving from Phoenix, San Diego. If anyone lives along the corridor, let me know. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. And about 30 seconds later, someone tweeted, oh yeah, Elisa Sherman lives in Yuma. Last I heard, if any of you know Elisa Sherman, she was like fighting Kodiak bears in Alaska or some shit. And I had no idea she moved to Yuma, but she's in Yuma. And so a minute after that, Elisa Sherman's like, hey, Peter, I live in Yuma. I'll meet you at the Starbucks off exit 2. Like, wow, that must be a really small town. And so about an hour and a half into my drive, I see welcome to Yuma, and I get off at exit 2, and there's a Starbucks. That was like the only thing at exit 2. And I go there, and there's Elisa, and she's with a couple of people like, hey, oh my God, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in like 5 years. And she goes, Peter, hey, this is my friend Mark. He's the deputy mayor of Yuma. She's like, I haven't seen you, but I showed him some of your stuff online, and I was in a meeting when I texted you, so he said, oh, I want to meet him too. I said, wow, so you guys actually have a mayor and a deputy mayor, and you're that big of a town. Okay, so really nice guy. And as I had coffee with him, and I was driving back, and I started thinking about why Elisa, who's only been in Yuma for like a few months or whatever, put her reputation on the line and said, come meet this guy. And I realized all that it was my brand. That the only thing I had, that the only thing that could possibly get Elisa to put her rep on the line and say, hey, Mr. Deputy Mayor, or Daryl, whatever his name was, come meet my friend Peter, have coffee with him. You've never met this guy, but he's worth it, was my brand. Was that in the past, I've been known for trying to help people, trying to do good things. And she put her rep on the line and said, come meet this guy, I vouch for him. And you got to start thinking about that, because I am here to tell you that we are using social media as a crutch. We are using social media to respond to crises instead of preventing the crisis from happening in the first place. We are using social media to talk about ourselves instead of finding out what our audience wants. And a lot of us, like our previous presenter, are doing it really well. And there are a lot of us that aren't. And at the end of the day, I don't care how much you devote to crisis management, how much you devote for social, how much you devote for any of that. If as a business, you've already screwed up, you're 50% behind the 8 ball to begin with. And I just want to talk about that for a little bit, because I'm seeing it more and more. I call it the FFS meter. My FFS, look, I have an 18-month-old kid now. I'm 42. I'm a dad, so I'm getting old, right? I'm getting older. So I don't know if it's that I'm just getting older and crotchety, or more people are just being stupid, but my FFS meter is blowing up big time. Anyone know what my FFS meter is? When I read something, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay? So, so my FFS meter has just been scaling lately. When the first time I had it was when I believe it was a soup company after 9/11 wrote something on their site that says, in this time of trouble and trauma, what America really needs is soup. Oh, for fuck's sake. So, it started there, but I've seen it go up more and more. So what does that mean? When I ran a company called Harrow. And when I ran Harrow, I just did a few things a little differently. And I want to share those few things, because those few things made Harrow, I believe, as successful as it was and got it acquired. And it starts off by understanding that having an audience, having customers, having anything like that is a privilege and not a right. And I've said this in almost every speech I give, so if you've heard it before, I apologize. But having an audience, having customers, having clients, having people who follow you on Twitter is a privilege, it's not a right. It is exactly like wearing spandex. No, think about it. There are 3 people in this room, I looked at everyone, who have the right to wear spandex. Everyone else, like I've done Ironman, right? I'll do an Ironman triathlon, 5 minutes after it's over, Someone comes up, Mr. Shankman, good job. You have to put on this bulky T-shirt, sir, and take off your. I'm okay with that. I don't have the right to wear span. I earn that privilege for the race. But it's the same thing having customers, because we spend all of our time talking about how amazingly awesome we are, and yet no one believes us. Because if I never met you before and I go up to you in a bar and go, you know, you don't know me, but I'm that good. Seriously, finish your drink. Let's get out of here. I'm that good. You're going to throw your drink in my face and go back to talking to your best friend. I've done a lot of research. That's exactly what you're going to do. But if I'm sitting here just chilling out, playing like Plants vs. Zombies or whatever on my phone, and your best friend's, holy shit, that's Peter Shankman. I've heard of him. He's pretty awesome. You should go talk to him. At the very least, I'm getting your number. Okay, why is that important? Because the new PR is not public relations, it's personal recommendation. And here's where I get to tell something really exciting, and everyone scrolls down and tweets this. At Peter Shankman, tweet whatever the hell you want about me, I don't care. But here's where it gets exciting. I go on stage and I can tell you that I believe that within 3 to 4 years, the concept of friending, fanning, following, and liking will be gone. You won't have to friend anyone, you won't have to fan anyone, you won't have to like, you won't have to follow. It's bullshit. Anyone ever friend someone, and then you start dating them, and then you have to break up with them? And then you have that awkward thing of unfriending them? I dated someone for 3 years, and we broke up, and for 9 months, we were still friends because neither one of us wanted to be the awkward person who unfriended the other. How rude. So every day, I'd see her with her new boyfriend, she'd see me with my, I'd see her with her new boyfriend, she'd see me with my cat, and every day, because neither of us wanted to be rude, and then one day, neither of us wanted to unfriend the other until I woke up one day and found out like, she'd unfriended me, bitch. But the bigger picture around that is that it's awkward. I fly United Airlines all the time. Everyone knows that. I don't need to like their page. Okay, I do 250,000 miles with them a year. They can market to me all the hell they want. I'm their bitch. Okay, I can't take another airline. Okay, I'm loyal to them. I'm top level with them. I'm not going to go anywhere else, and they know that. So I don't have to go first like their page. If I start experiencing horrible service from them, I'm just going to go to another airline. I'm not going to remember to take the time. Oh, gee, better unlike United Airlines. I don't want them to think that I still like them. It's ridiculous. You go to a restaurant, and you have a great experience. You start going there every week. There's a restaurant on 49th Street and 9th Avenue called Diego's Mexican Grill. Okay, they know exactly how I like my tequila, which is just a lot. And they know exactly how I like my food. I mean, duh. And so I go there, and I'm there constantly, and they treat me well. And because they treat me well, I don't have to like their page. I don't even know if they're on Facebook. They have the right to market to me any way they want. If one day I go there and I find a finger in my chili, probably not so much. Okay, so think about the real world. Stop thinking about looking for the likes and start thinking about doing things in the real world that make you likable. Okay, we are relying, still to this day, on numbers of fans and followers and friends. How many of you have ever seen, I saw one as early as 4 days ago, a contest. We're at 9,999 followers. If our 10,000th follower is going to get a prize. Can I translate that for you? Fuck you, 9,999 previous followers. We're better dealing you for this one guy. Where's the benefit there? That's still a lot of the way we're thinking. I encourage you to think offline before you start thinking online. Customers, and here's why. Here's why, and this is sort of the meat of it, and I'll tell you a couple of stories surrounding it. So if friends, fanning, following, liking is all going away, what's going to be replaced by? Well, when you travel somewhere else, you see this already. When you land in, let's say you leave New York and you fly to LA. You land in LA, you turn your phone, you go to Facebook. You see people in your stream you haven't thought about in 6 months. You haven't talked to in forever. Why? Because you're in a new location. Geographically, Facebook knows that. I venture to say that Facebook knows you and your connections better than you know you and your connections. Okay? So I land in LA, I see a whole bunch of new people I haven't talked to in forever. Let's say I go to a hotel. I'm sitting at my hotel, and I go on to Google Maps because I'm hungry, which is like always. And I go and I say, find me a steakhouse near me. What Google currently does, and I don't know if you guys know this, Google will show you steakhouses near you on Google Maps. That's their job. But if any of your friends on Google+, which, yes, is a thing, and there's a reason Google keeps trying to make it a thing, and I'll tell you why in a second. If any of your friends on Google+ have eaten at a steakhouse anywhere near you, and you've interacted with them recently, you'll see that steakhouse before you see geographic location steakhouses. Think about that. Think about that I'm actually going to see, let's say, Morton's in Beverly Hills, as opposed to Ruth's Chris, which is downtown, closer to me, because a friend of mine who I just met last week or just Gmailed last week, took a photo and tagged it on Google+. And the sentiment of that photo was positive. This is already happening. Imagine a world in 36 months where everyone you meet, for good or for bad, every business you interact with, every company you touch, everything you do, every hotel you stay at, every place you buy a soda, every doctor, everything you do, personally, professionally, is recorded in the network. Now, before you freak, it's not recorded publicly. Calm the fuck down. Okay, privacy died 30 years ago, but none of you have ever gotten over that. Okay, that's fine. But it's not recorded publicly. It's not like, Peter just went to a strip club. It's not like that. What I'm saying, though, is that your interests are recorded online. Okay, I'm running a Teespring campaign. The middle shirt, if you're an entrepreneur, buy my shirt. We tipped yesterday. We're at 120 of 100, which is pretty cool. But I visited that site one time when I made it. Okay, I can't go to one goddamn website now without it following me. Okay, and it's sitting there it has 9 more days on the campaign. And it says, 9 more days. I know, I made it. But it knows me. The network already knows you. So imagine a world in 36 months where everything you do, not just online, but in the real world, is in your network as well. So driving here today, I stopped at a Carl's Jr. because I couldn't find an In-N-Out burger on I-8. So I stopped at Carl's Jr. And I grabbed a burger. And imagine that the network knows that. And then imagine if a friend of mine is driving that same route next week to give another speech and says, where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, dude, Peter just went to Carl's Jr. He photographed the burger. Here, he liked it. The sentiment of my post was positive. So imagine a world where it's not about, hey, we're sorry we screwed up. Because by the time someone's sorry they screwed up on Twitter, the initial action of you suck has already been recorded. Imagine a world where the customer service, think about it this way. Last time you had a flight, okay? Who had a great flight? Last great flight you had. Okay, why was your flight great? You, girl, why was your flight great? Yes. Awesome. So essentially, you had an amazingly great flight because you paid for a service and they delivered that service. Good for you. That's awesome. It is amazing that the bar in customer service has dropped so goddamn low that you are thrilled to death that you gave someone money and they did the shit they told you they'd do. That's where we are. Okay, because let's face it, what happens on a normal flight? You get to the airport, there's a huge line. When you get to the TSA, you get the anal probe, you walk in. Okay, their ticket says gate 32. You go to gate 32, it's actually gate 412. Okay, you go to gate 412, but it's cool because the plane's 3 hours late. You get on the plane, you're in seat 4D, which has miraculously changed to 34 bathroom. You sit next to the bathroom for 7 hours next to a 400-pound guy who basically takes your seat as well. And when you land 4 hours late, you're just happy you're not dead, although you want to kill yourself. That's air travel. So why are you so thrilled? Because you actually had a normal flight. The bar is so ridiculously low. It's that great joke about the two guys who are out jogging in the woods, and they see a black bear, and he's climbed up, and he's ready to strike, and they're both dead, right? And the first guy leans down and makes sure his running shoes are tight, and tightens his laces, and the second goes, dude, you can't outrun a bear. He says, yeah, I just need to outrun you. That was funny. The bar is so unbelievably low. In the customer service world, we expect to be treated like shit. We expect to have bad experiences. We go to the dry cleaner, drop off our stuff. They say it'll be ready Thursday. We know it's not going to be ready till Tuesday. Okay, we know the flight's going to be delayed. We know we're not going to board and there's going to be no overhead space left. To the point where the airlines are actually saying, if you're further back than Group B, you might as well just check your bag. Okay, that's where we are. So if we expect that, imagine what happens before you even go online. Imagine what happens if you just treat your customers. I'm not even asking you to treat them well. Just treat them one level above crap. It doesn't even have to be good. Okay, we are so used to the bar being so low, treat your customers one level above crap, not even great, and they will be thrilled, like you were, because your flight landed and you didn't die. Oh my God, greatest flight ever, I'm alive, and I'm early. What happens, though, if you got upgraded? Or if they smiled at you? Or if they said, you know what, we are a few minutes late, here's a free drink. See? That's why the damn flight was good. Be honest. If you go one level above the norm, you're going to win every single time. And then the beautiful thing happens, and here's what it is. you can stop telling the world how awesome you are, because when you tell them, no one believes you. One level above crap, people will tell the world how awesome you are for you. 5 levels above crap, they'll become zombie loyalists. They'll go out of their way to tell you how awesome you are. And they will tell the world, and they will drag other people back with them. And then they do all your social for you. They go online and they start saying, holy shit, best experience ever on this airline. Oh my God, I love it. Morton Steakhouse, I have no economic connection with them other than they met me at an airport once with a steak. I go there a lot because I like steak. If you make a reservation at Morton's, whoever you are, they ask you a question. They go, when you say, okay, we'll see you at Friday at 8:30. By the way, are you celebrating anything? Yeah, it's my wife's birthday. Oh, cool, what's her name? Her name's Kira. Okay, great, we'll see you and Kira there. And your first thought's, wow, they called my wife by her name. That's pretty cool. You get there, sit down at your table, and they hand you the menus. On the menu, it says, happy birthday, Kira. Every single time, whoever you are, your first time at Morton's, your 100th, it says, happy birthday, happy retirement, happy training, happy whatever, happy wedding, that person's name. You know what happens then? We sit down, my wife says, oh my God, that's my birthday. And I'm like, yeah. And then she spends the next 45 minutes Instagramming and Facebooking that shit, and I can't get a drink. But think about the sentiment. The sentiment of those Instagrams, the sentiment of those texts, the sentiment of those tweets are all positive. Going back to the world 36 months from now, the world's going to be run by sentiment. Right now, the internet runs on 3 things: drama, bragging, and cats. Prove me wrong. Do you know today's National Cat Day, by the way? That, for me, is just like Wednesday. But yeah, Uber was like delivering kittens all day. It was a pretty cool thing. But imagine in 36 months, the internet runs on sentiment, bragging, drama, and cats. In 36 months, if I want to go to Fiji, I simply go online and start searching for flights, and a little window pops up. It says, hey, you're looking for Fiji. Your friend Clay went to Fiji 2 months ago. Here's his Instagram photos. They seem to be pretty positive. Here's his tweets. He had a great flight on United, but the connecting airline, Kiwi, he didn't really like that much. You could see that. Here's the score. But he loved the hotel. Look at that pool he was in. That's going to be automatic. And he's not going to have to leave a review. His sentiment will be positive or negative. You know what that means? Kiss Yelp goodbye. Kiss TripAdvisor goodbye. Yeah, I know, I'm with you. Why should I trust a review from Yelp or TripAdvisor when I don't know them? The guy might have loved the hotel in Fiji on TripAdvisor because he's a scuba diver. And underwater, it looked pretty great. Under the sea, right? Everything's great. The hotel might have sucked. But his review is all about scuba. If I don't scuba and I just want a hotel with a spa, I listen to him, I'm screwed. But if I listen to Clay, and Clay says, yeah, I had a great time here, and I get there and it turns out he's a shill for the hotel, I've lost him as a friend. Or he's lost me as a friend. So he's lost his reputation, he's lost his brand. So what's the future? The future's honesty? The future's transparency? Holy shit, is the future transparency. The ability to lie pretty much died about 20 years ago. The last company that was able to successfully lie was pretty much like Enron. And we see how that turned out. Before that was Union Carbide. Okay, Union Carbide put out a press release back in 1983 that said 3 workers were slightly injured when a steam pipe ruptured. What really happened was 20,000 Indians were killed when they released cyanide gas in the atmosphere. Okay, it took like a week for the New York Times to find that. It's pretty instantaneous now. So own it, be transparent, okay? Elliot Spitzer was accused of hanging out with prostitutes. He stepped down, he was gone. He'll be back in office in 5 years. Anthony Weiner, good luck there. For those not from New York, Anthony Weiner was going to be the next mayor. It was not a question. He was going to be the next mayor. All he had to do was be like, you know, I was trying to have some sexy time with my wife and don't know how to use the Twitter. My bad. Would have laughed at him for 7 hours. New York Post would have made a headline out of his name. Would have been horrible. And something about the Wiener's out or whatever. And we would have moved on and he'd be mayor right now. He'll be lucky to be the most popular history professor at the University of Arkansas. All he had to do was own it. You're going to screw up. You're going to do something wrong. Your company's going to do something wrong. It's probably going to involve, if you do it personally, it's probably going to involve alcohol. Okay, if your company does it, don't lie about it. Own it. Own it. Get behind it. Say, here's what we did. Here's how we're going to fix it. Turn that hater into a lover. Turn that hater into a lover, and if you can, do it on the spot. Do it with real-time customer service in person or online, via phone, as it's happening. There's no better lover in the world than a former hater. That's transparency. The worst thing that you can do is let the situation not get resolved on the ground let the customer find their own resolution, which usually has nothing to do with you. They went out of their way to do it on their own after they've been screwed by you, and then you tweet them the next day, hey, we heard you had a problem. Can you DM us your case number? No. No, you can go screw yourself. 6 months ago, I was speaking in Phoenix at a conference called Icon. I landed in Phoenix. I went to Hertz to pick up my car. There was no car. My name wasn't on the board. I said, okay. I stood online for 40 minutes on the gold line or whatever. 40 minutes in, the guy says, you probably have a better shot if you go upstairs. We're really busy down here. Go up to the regular line. I go up to the regular line. I wait another 40 minutes. Enough time for me to create a meme on my phone. I've been online for an hour and a half. When you're online for an hour and a half not getting a resolution, you have time to create a meme. That pretty much tells you need to fix your customer service. It said something like, Hertz, why you no honor confirm reservation or something. I tweeted that out. No response from Hertz. An hour and a half later, I get to the front counter, and it's like, how can I help you? I'm like, yeah, I had a reservation. I have a gold card. Oh, you're gold? You have to go back downstairs. Like, all right, let's put a pin in that. See, they sent me up here. And the guy's like, no, I'm sorry, you have to go downstairs. I'm like, but they have to help you. No, it's not they. You're the same company. I'm sure of this. I'm sorry, you have to go downstairs. Then he had the balls to go next. I'm sorry, you have to go next. Like, Hertz nexted me. Okay. So I don't know if you've ever been to Sky Harbor in Phoenix, but I went. Hertz is literally right here, like physically right here. I walked the 50 feet over from like the seventh circle of hell and damnation that was Hertz, over to like the wonderful like bowl of fresh flowers and puppies that was Avis. And Phyllis, a 67-year-old employee at Avis, who moved to Phoenix with her husband from Detroit because of her husband's asthma, I heard this whole story, had me in a car, a better car, a cheaper car, a nicer car, within 5 minutes, and the manager came out. And Phyllis said to the manager, yeah, we have another Hertz refugee. He goes, yeah, we get those a lot. If another company knows how much you suck, don't you think that's something you might want to fix? So I'm in my awesome Avis car. I drive to my hotel. I still haven't heard from Hertz. I get to my hotel. I, of course, write an epic blog post called Peter and Hertz and the no good, really bad, horrible, terrible customer service experience. And I might have included 5 things on a list that I would never do, that I would rather do than rent from Hertz again. I think number 3 was ride a razor blade bus through a lemon juice waterfall. And the next day, I get an email from Hertz. So it's like 24 hours later, Mr. Shankman, hi, or the phone call rather. Hi, I'm the head of North American whatever for Hertz. I saw your blog. We'd like to work with you to make it better. I'm like, well, you don't really have to because I'm in an Avis car. And it's the best car ever. Like, it's awesome because it's not from Hertz. It's like, well, sir, we understand that. We'd like to make, like, here's the thing, Hertz. You had 5 people, 5 of them, who could have saved me, who could have turned me into a lover, and I would be prancing up and down the streets, like throwing flowers about how awesome you were because you fixed my problem. Instead, it took 5 people to push me to another company to do it. So no, I'm not going to go back to you. And no, I'm sorry. And quite frankly, if my name wasn't Peter Shankman, I didn't have a blog, you wouldn't be giving me a call in any capacity whatsoever. So no. And, well, we're really sorry to hear that. I'm like, well, you might want to retrain Phoenix because they're killing you. So I encourage you to this. It's great to be alert on Twitter, right? I mean, alert, not Hertz 24 hours later alert, but like really alert, real-time alert. It's better to train your customers, to train your employees to understand that it takes every single customer, let's try that again. It takes every single employee to make your company succeed. It takes 1 to kill it. It takes 1. Everyone's allowed to have a bad day. All good, right? Not 5 people. Okay, because that tells me there's a problem. That tells me there's a culture problem in your company. Why the hell would I want to use your services? And how does that go back to ADHD? There are 27 rental car companies in one building at the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Of all the places to be on your game, that would probably be it. LAX, you go to Hertz, they screw you? Well, it's a mile and a half to Avis. It's 50 freaking feet. Know your audience. And understand that if they have a bad day, if I have the ability, iPhone, Android, iPhone, BlackBerry, seriously? That's awesome. 2009 call, they want their phone back. But if you look around, if everyone has 24-hour access to the internet and everyone could do a goddamn meme on their mobile device or even just bitch, why let it get to that? So I know I'm out of time. I'll leave you with this. At the end of the day, all you have is your brand. Business or personal, you have nothing else. And if we're really in this world where in 36 months, everyone you meet is in your network, and every piece of business you do is in your network, and recommendations no longer come from the New York Times book review section, but from Mark, who read this book, and you're looking on Kindle, and it comes up, oh, Mark liked this. You just talked to Mark a couple of days ago. I encourage you, treat your audience like they're a privilege, not like they're a right to have. Be transparent, be relevant to them, communicate the way they want, talk to them, ask them how they like to get their information. I mean, for God's sake, I work for a nonprofit animal rescue society in the Midwest. I sent them a check several years ago because in honor of a friend of mine, they sent me a coffee table book. I was living in a studio apartment at the time without any room for a coffee table. And I called them like, why the hell wouldn't you just send me like a link to something online I could forward to friends? Oh, well, we believe most of our donors are older and they probably aren't on the internet. I said, well, so you've studied this? No, we're just assuming. I said, fuck, for fuck's sake. So I joined their board. And the following year, we interviewed every current and past donor and found out that 96% of them wanted their information online. So the following year, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, and in the next 12 months, donations went up 37%. And they saved over $500,000 on printing, mailing, and reproduction. Go to your boss and say, hey, this social thing and this listen to your audience thing, we increased revenue by 37% and saved $500,000. Your boss will buy you really, really expensive alcohol. Be relevant, be brief. The 2.7-second rule has actually been upped. We actually got 0.3 seconds of attention back. I used to claim a study of 2.7 seconds of attention span. Back in the 80s, we had 3-minute attention spans. It's dropped to around 2.7 to 3 seconds. If you have 3 seconds to reach your audience, learn to communicate. Be a better communicator. Look to your left and look to your right. Study came out last year. 1 out of every 2 corporate homepages in America has a spelling or grammatical error on the homepage. Look to your left and look to your right. If it's not the person next to you, it's your ass. Why the hell should I buy from you if you can't even spell? Okay? Create better content. Just because that's the way you've always done it before doesn't mean that's the way you have to do it in the future. Use video. Okay? Use video, and for Christ's sake, get a real camera, stabilize it, put it on a goddamn tripod, learn about lighting, and stop starting every freaking video with, hey guys! You can do better. You're all here because you want to learn. You can do better than hey guys. And then lastly, top of mind. Reach out to customers you haven't talked to in 6 months. Every morning, Megan, my assistant, sends me 10 contacts out of my Google Contacts page, 10. And I email them. And I say, hey, haven't talked to you in 6 months. I know this because you're on my talk to every 6 months list. I haven't talked to you. Blatantly honest. I haven't spoken to you in 6 months, so I'm calling to see what you're doing. How are you? What are you working on? I get a 70% reply rate with that. And what winds up happening, hey, Peter, really good to hear from you. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, I'll probably get, hey, Peter, you know what, Peter, a friend of mine needs a speaker. I was thinking about you. Of course you were. I primed you for that 2 weeks ago by saying hi. But here's the thing. It wasn't self-promotion. Okay? I'm awesome. Hire me is self-promotion. No one likes that. That's like Nickelback. No one likes that shit. But, hey, haven't spoken to you in a while, and I wonder what you're working on. I want to know how I can help you. That's self-promotion, but it's wrapped in bacon. Everyone loves bacon. So I encourage you. Understand that your audience is going to be entirely connected. Last point, think about a business or think about a personal relationship this way. Right now I meet you, we hang out at a bar, I have to get your email address, I look you up, I try to Facebook friend you, I hope you reply. 36 months from now, I meet you, you text me your number, great meeting you, I text you back, great meeting you too. I text you a couple days later, hey, it was really nice hanging out with you, want to grab a drink? You go, sure. You text me back. The sentiment of those texts in the Google universe, I don't know if it's going to be Google or Facebook that wins. I hope it's both and they call themselves for Google. But what's your name? Great. So Kalika and I, we meet, we hang out. I text her, great meeting you, great meeting you back. That's touch points 1 and 2. I text her a couple days later, hey, it was great meeting you, want to grab a drink? She has 2 options. Yeah, I'd love to, that sounds great, or no, screw off, you're weird. No, screw off, you're weird is negative sentiment. Google unhinges, we never hear from each other again. Yes, I'd love to, positive sentiment. That's touch points 3 and 4. We meet at a bar, touch points 5 and 6. I say, you want to grab dinner sometime? She goes, sure. I go to open table, touch points 7 and 8. When we both show up at the restaurant, the GPS knows that in our phones, touch points 9 and 10, we're friends. I see her info. She sees mine. Whatever she's positioned as like touch points 1 to 10 to 1,000. And vice versa. I don't have to friend request her. Next thing I know, we're hanging out. 6 months later, we're dating. Eventually, I do something stupid. She breaks up with me. Again, student history. And when she breaks up with me, instead of unfriending, remember we talked about that awkwardness? No. We just fade away. Our friends disconnect. Just like in the real world. Focus on customer service in the real world. It'll make your social so much goddamn easier. Peter@Shankman.com. I answer every single email personally. T-shirt, books. I really do answer every single email personally. The only thing I'm not allowed to do is schedule anything because my assistant took away write access to my calendar. No, she did. I booked 2 dinners on the same night. on separate continents. But if you're in New York, if you're in a city that I'm in, I always buy the first cup of coffee because I believe that we should be a kinder people dedicated to trying to help others. So guys, thanks for spending some time with me.